speaking of translating your music to the visual arts, you released a very, very sick music video for W.W.Y.S. that I would love to talk about. Guys, it's like weirdly hard to find cool music videos in the heavy music scene. There's a lot. I mean, there's lack of a budget is certainly a thing, but like, for me as a metalhead, I'm like pretty done with men standing in the woods and looking tough. Like, we need to get some other stuff. And the concept was so cool because we get to see you being your like badass rock star self, but you're also paying homage to all these iconic Black women. We see Grace Jones, we see Miss Tina Turner, Sister Rosetta Thorpe, Betty Davis. And so I know that was your concept, and I would love for you to talk about it.
Sure. So initially going in, that was my first music video, and I had an entirely different idea for it, and something just clicked and said, oh my gosh, it was the dress. So the dress I'm wearing in that music video is the little Tina Turner dress, and I found that dress at this place called Vintage Vortex, and I saved the dress because I'm like, I cannot wear this unless it's for a moment. It's just a cool dress. And when I started building this idea, what I did was I went all the way back to the 40s till today, and I went through like all of the amazing like women of color in rock music. And by the time I finished, I'm gonna cry. By the time I finished the list, I would put myself at the bottom of it and looking at like Tina Turner and looking at all of these amazing women who have done what I'm doing. And I think it was more humbling because it wasn't necessarily a matter of, oh my gosh, my makeup. It wasn't necessarily a matter of like, I'm gonna get here and I'm gonna do this, but as I'm making this list and putting these pictures there, I'm putting like, the 50s, the 60s, and coming all the way down. I was just, I guess, very gracious for the opportunity that I'm making this list, if that makes any sense, or that I can even put myself on a list like this, because in my mind I'm like, this is the list, this is mine, like, and so doing that video meant a lot to me. And that's not initially what I wanted to do first. It was not the homage video. There's a whole nother video that W.W.Y.S has. Oh. Yeah, but I'm like, I want to do two. Why not? That's so cool. And so by the time we shot and finished, Betty Davis had passed away. And my makeup artist calls me like literally in tears, like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I just feel like I was doing the right thing at the right time. And we paid homage to her legacy at the end of the video. But I mean, so the entire experience was something I will never forget, but also really cool.
Thank you for sharing that with me. And honestly, it just shows how deeply personal your work is to you, and what an incredible tribute to these titans, like absolute icons. And I love it as almost like a spell or an affirmation to yourself of being like, this is what I'm shooting for, and this is who I want to honor in my work. And I just think that's so deeply powerful. So thank you for that. Yes. And also, holy shit, you produced that yourself. Yes. Like, you have a production company, people, and you did that. Yeah. So did you... I know that that was not the first thing that you've released with your production company, because you also have been doing a really cool thing where you have created a documentary series so that fans and new people can sort of follow you on your journey. Talk about that, and talk about like your decision just be like, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it myself.
So, I mean, back to asking, right? How's my laugh?
You look amazing.
Back to asking, so I just kind of had this idea, and I fumbled around with how would an artist present themselves now, beyond Instagram, beyond what we normally would see, or just like someone pop up, which is cool. But then I think it's really cool when you have something like a docu-series where you can go back and see where this person started, and then by the time you do the docu-series and you're following Instagram and you've bought the merchandise and you know the songs and you're at the concerts, you're now with me in real time, so you've missed nothing so far.
I love that, and I love the concept of inviting people into your journey because, again, we may have new musicians, people who are looking to do exactly what you're doing, and what an inspiration, what a gift to them. Which, by the way, anyone who is watching, feel free to pop questions in the comments. I am going to be asking all of your questions, and also please give London some love for spending some time here with us today. It is truly, like, it's such a blessing to be able to do this and sit with artists like yourself. I want to talk about the album. I know that you can't say much, but I also just feel like you were speaking a little bit about multitudes with Outside Pretender, and I love the idea that your music also contains that sort of duality where you can go to pop and you can go heavy. Like, it is really, we're not limited anymore. You know, I feel my optimistic self is thinking that we're past the, like, if you're going to make heavy music, it has to be broody. It has to be this, it has to be that. So as you're building this album, I know that a lot of things are on lockdown right now, but what can you say about the sonic themes and if there are any through lines in, like, a narrative?
As far as sonic themes, I would say more of what's already been presented. Expect more of that. Also expect a softer side, perhaps, that you wouldn't expect from such a heavy song, or a different arrangement of a song that is, like, super heavy, super hardcore rock, or, you know, alternative, little metal, just to be open to experience that.
Okay, I love that. When you think in the future of fans who have been following you on your journey and new fans who are just finding out who you are, the completed album, and when you sort of sit with that and visualize it, how do you imagine people taking it in? Are they driving? Are they with friends? Are they in headphones alone? How do you think about it?
Me on stage and tons of people in the crowds just going crazy,
Live.
Especially on Outside Pretender.
Yes.
But I was like, this is great music to do workouts to. This is great music for, you know, certain songs that aren't out yet, that's like for car rides. Or maybe you want like a soft, moody song with your significant other. There's that too. So
it's a real, like, it takes you on a journey.
Yes.
No one, I'm getting the more of the same, but also what you've released sounds, tell me if I'm wrong, it sounds like these 3 songs are a condensed version of what you'll hear, in that none of those songs are really the same. I love that. I'm very excited to hear this album. Shoot. Well, don't go anywhere, because after London's amazing performance, we're going to hear the first 3 songs off the EP, so look forward to that. But since you mentioned live, let's talk about your first concert at the Whiskey, dude. I'm so excited. How did this come about? And don't say asking. Or do.
Well, do you want the truth?
I do.
Okay. How this came about. So I literally asked.
I love this.
I literally asked. The thing was, I sent an email. So again, I sent this email, or, you know, and I'm wondering, like, is this gonna work? And I get a little down because, you know, I didn't hear anything. And then all of a sudden, like, one day I get this email alert on my phone, and I'm like, oh, crap. I'm like, let's go, it's happening. Yeah, because, you know, I mean, to start, sometimes I've been told, you know, oh, you're so ambitious. Like, yeah, I'm completely so ambitious. Like, it's beyond, but I know, like, I can do what I'm going for. So for me, in my mind, starting at Whiskey, I wanted to make like a bold statement, because number one, I had to get accepted by them. I had to get the approval, right? So I was just like, no, if I do this, I want this to be hot. Like, I want to make a statement. I want to make a bold statement to the people who, you know, were telling me no, the people who, you know, maybe said they wanted to support and didn't, you know. I wanted to make a very bold statement. The fact that I get to do that right there at that iconic legendary venue is, I mean, it's still
come on,
amazing.
dude.
And it's my first show.
Yeah, huge.
What?
That is huge. And I feel like it's almost, speaking as someone who dropped out of college, it feels like you're applying to the place where you like want to go to school. Like it feels like the Harvard of the rock scene in LA. Did you apply? Did you send materials into any other venue?
I did. And
None good. None as
they
good.
They were not first. I'll let you know that.
Yeah.
They weren't first, and that's okay because everything happens the way it's supposed to happen.
I believe that.
And then it's more of a okay. Oh, now you're calling my phone? Yes. Let's get you on my calendar because maybe we can make that venue work after all.
I love.
But I am getting a lot of people saying like, "Oh my gosh, your first show's at the Whiskey?" Like, what? You know, at least as a rising artist as myself, so.
Yeah, it's huge. And, you know, again, is a testament to your ability to not only work hard, but really believe in yourself and know that you can back that up to your words. So how are you preparing for your first ever live show?
Joy.
Great.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Wake up, work out, bike for 30, go to work, come home, exercise again,
Oh my God.
go to rehearsal, go to bed, and do it all over again.
Wow. I think that people, and people being also myself, don't really think so often about how physically demanding a live performance is. And that's with your voice, with your body, you know, keeping your energy up. So it's great to hear that you're taking it so seriously and training for an event, you know. Obviously, we've talked about how iconic the Whiskey is, and I am curious to see who you've seen there.
Okay, so I actually went on a night where they were hosting a lot of female bands, and I saw this artist named Isis Queen and her band at the time, and she introduced me to her friends and things like that, and I had stayed in touch with her over a long period of time, and she did not live in the United States, so she was out here touring. But that was my first time ever at the Whiskey to go see it. Yeah, someone.
What an incredible way to sort of set the stage for your journey, is seeing an all-women night, man. I am so excited for you.
Thank you.
We've got just a little bit of time left, so I want to make sure that I'm giving room for some audience questions. And I know we have one from Jay McCrossan. What was the first band you saw live?
First band I saw live was actually Aerosmith.
Whoa!
They came to the Mid-State Fair up in the Central Coast, and I knew the person working at the VIP door section, and they just let me in, and I got to watch it, and I was crying. I'm like, this is everything, like rock and roll.
That is an incredible, also a way to set the bar high in terms of all the rest of the concerts. That's amazing. And since we're all about firsts here on this show, I would love to know also what your favorite like front to back album is, one that you can listen to all the way through.
Wow.
And what was the first?
Okay. Wow. I think my mom gave me like Nelly Furtado Whoa Nelly, front to back, the entire album.
It's a great one.
And that album had so many sounds I had never heard, and like at that time were not normal, you know, coming from like a pop entitled song. So that taught me a lot. My favorite would probably be Nirvana Nevermind.
I mean, it's clear it comes through in your music. I love that answer. One thing that I would love to hear, and I have to paint a little bit of a picture for you, right? Okay, so imagine Mount Rushmore. Okay. Get all those crusty white guys out of there and put your favorite cornerstone musicians that, like, to you deserve to be carved out of a mountainside. Who are your four?
Wow. Okay, so
There's four, right?
For me, that's gonna be Tina Turner. That's gonna be Slash. That's going to be. Oh my gosh, this is a fabulous question. This is hard. Wow. Oh, who else? Who else? So Tina, Slash. Oh. I will give Jimmy Page. And who else? Okay, if we're talking now, wow, that's hard. I would say Probably Aaron Jones.
Wow.
He's a newer rock artist now. Yeah.
I am glad that you took that question with the gravity that it respects. That is not an easy thing to carve someone's face out of a mountain. We've got another live chat question from It's West Davenport. London, your style is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
What did you wear to high school prom if you went? And I think that I know that. That's a good question. Tell me about prom.
Okay. Well, I didn't go because I did the lip sync competition, but I did get to go to a different prom, and I wore this champagne-colored dress with its back cut out with a lot of beautiful, sparkly things going on with the mermaid tail at the end. I did not want to wear a corsage, so that got thrown out. And, that's what I wore.
Were you an alt kid?
Like, loner by myself, listening to, like...
Stylistically.
Definitely, because at school, it was like, what the hell is she wearing, like, every day?
I mean, icons only. Some people, the girls that get it.
Yeah. And I have this one leather jacket I found, and I would wear it, like, every day. My mom's like, you need to get a new jacket. And I'm like, I love it. It's, like, my thing.
I mean, as a fellow former goth, I appreciate that. All right, we just have time for 2 more questions, so I'm going to give you one silly one and one sweet one. Silly, what does your TikTok feed look like?
Oh my gosh, a little bit of everything. My dog, some of me making up my own little things, and what's the newest video on there right now?
When security brings you into VIP like.
That's my bitch! Let her keep going! That's a bad bitch!
I don't know, probably some challenge or something that I did.
Love it.
Yeah.
Exactly as intended. And I guess before we go to break, I would just love to give you an opportunity to say who your music is for, and who are you really hoping that this album reaches?
I hope that this album reaches people who need a little strength or a little kick in their butt to just, like, let's go, get up, come on, move it. You can do it, need a little encouragement. But also, if you're really angry, like, I always blast W.W.Y.S when I'm mad. But anyone who just is ready for a different sound and is ready, maybe you wouldn't normally listen to rock music, but I think that my music does a cool job at introducing you to something you wouldn't think you would like if you don't listen to rock music.
I love it. So if you need to get your ass kicked, or if you want to kick some ass, this is the album for you. Thank you so much for sitting down with me, London. I'm so excited for your show at the Whiskey. I'm so excited for this album, and I think that chat has had a really, really fun time engaging with you as well. We are going to go to a quick commercial, and then be sure to join us for a live and very intimate performance by London.
Yay.